Does reality have bugs? Yes, lots of them.
Caterpillar, butterfly, bee, spider.
No, I don't mean that. What I mean is like glitches, like problems that are problems which came about non intentionally. Like, let's say within a video game, a glitch is something which occurs that's out of place, that wasn't necessarily intentionally meant to be within the game. And people can either take advantage of this glitch and use it to their advantage within the game, or in a lot of ways, it can actually take away the advantage that they might have possibly already had.
Games are made by humans, and humans make mistakes. This simply explains some pretty weird glitches in our favorite titles. Today we are sharing 10 weird visual glitches that slipped into the game by accident. Video games are never going to be glitch-free. In fact, they're as complicated as that crush that keeps putting you in the friend zone.
So, how is it that reality has glitches? Well, if we dive into the science of genetics and of evolution, what we find is that all things are merely a happenstance of mutation, a mere random occurrence. And instead of there being like a banker, so to speak, who balances out the scale, like humans like to do within their society, they constantly try and manipulate the environment to balance it out, to say that we need to overcome extremism by finding moderation and by finding a balance. The natural world does this naturally, and it actually does this through its glitches and through the actuality that these glitches actually moderate the system itself. Think about it for a minute.
What do you think of when you think of the word mutation? Do you think about X-Men and some really awesome ability? Or the Ninja Turtles? We loved the Ninja Turtles when we were little. We might be showing our age a little bit. But mutations really are not that glamorous. Most people understand that a mutation is some kind of change. It is a change of genetic material, and more specifically, a nucleic acid. RNA and DNA, they're both types of nucleic acids. So how does a change happen? Remember that in DNA, the base adenine A goes with the base thymine T, and the base cytosine C goes with the base guanine G. And that's all good, but what happens if the wrong base matches up? Many things can cause an error like that. There can be external factors, like chemicals and radiation, internal things too, like something goes wrong during DNA replication, during interphase.
It's only a glitch until it becomes the normal thing. Now, what I mean by that is that let's say that we have a mutation, and this mutation can follow one of two pathways really within reality. It can either be negative upon the thing which has mutated itself, or it can be beneficial towards the thing which has mutated. And if it's beneficial, what we'll find is that in most cases, this mutation will actually pass on to the progeny of the thing that has become mutated. Now, this is the proposed method of evolution, where given the set conditions or the environment that we find ourselves within, we actually house mutations. And in a lot of ways, these mutations can be beneficial towards the organism in taking advantage of the environment. Now, what actually happens is that this is a self-regulating system, because if the organism itself becomes too advantageous and is able to totally take control of its environment and the resources at hand, and it actually exhausts the resources, it will actually destroy itself because it consumes all the resources And then what we find is that it will balance itself out. Nature naturally balances itself out through this system and this mechanism. And it's kind of like, going back to the video game analogy or comparison. If we look at a programmer, and a programmer is programming the ideal, right? They have the overall picture within their mind, and they're trying to capture this image or this picture and to tell a story which people can play along with. And that's where we find ourselves within a video game. Now, what happens is, due to the code and due to other circumstances, sometimes glitches occur. And what we find is that people can actually sometimes take advantage of these glitches, or it will actually detract from the game. Now, let's say that a programmer is actually programming a video game and he unintentionally introduces a glitch within the system. But this glitch actually improves the overall game itself in its playability and in its enjoyability by those who play the game. And so the programmers look at the overall game and they say, we didn't intentionally necessarily mean to introduce this function into the game, but it has actually became a positive thing for the overall game itself. And so we're going to just leave it there because we're receiving positive feedback as to this being within the game itself. And so we're going to leave it as something which is actually a part of the game itself.
Gaming is an industry worth over $100 billion and shows no sign of slowing down. This means that developer that releases a successful game can make billions from just one launch. With such a profitable and rapidly growing market, the ones on top are making filthy amounts of money. In this list, we'll be showing you the 5 richest game developers in the world.
Now, the natural world kind of does this naturally. If something isn't necessarily a beneficial mutation or a beneficial glitch, then what actually occurs is it will weed itself out. It can't even take advantage of the environment or the resources at all, and so it just dies off.
The 10 weirdest human mutations.
And so what we find is that the natural world actually houses some form of chaotic glitch system to actually reach order. In that, we find that due to entropy and the overall chaotic nature of the universe itself, it has found a way to actually reach somewhat of the pinnacle of order through chaos, due to the fact that it is a self-regulating system in that mutations and glitches which are non-viable will naturally die off. Yet those which become viable and are able to take advantage of the system will naturally regulate themselves within the system and the environment itself, because if they even become too advantageous themselves in regards to utilization of the resources, they themselves will die off because there will be no more resources to take advantage of. And so then, yes, there are glitches within reality.
What the hell just happened?
An agent, you have to send me back.
I can't.
Mr. Anderson.
Run, Neo, run. What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
But the fact of the matter is that as soon as it becomes the normal thing, it's no longer a glitch. And I'll leave you with that. Thank you for joining me on this journey through thought. I'll see you next time on Euphoric Intentions.